Welcome to Section 2.5 Part 2, Solving Equations with Decimals. Our objective for this lesson is I can solve equations with decimal coefficients. So we recall, maybe from an earlier class, that we can turn decimals into fractions. We do this by looking at the lowest occupied decimal place. So in this case, this 4 is in the tenths place. So that means that I can convert this into 4/10. In the same way, this 7 is in the hundredths place, which means I can turn this 0.17 into 17/100ths. So let's try this in two ways. On the left here, I'm going to do this one in the traditional way, the one we've been practicing in class. And on the right, I'm going to try the new method that the book is using, similarly to what we did when we were working with fraction coefficients. So we'll try this one out with the new way. So in the traditional way, first thing we want to do is isolate all of the x's together. So I'm going to move this 0.06x from the left side to the right by subtracting it from each side. Okay, that's going to cancel out right there. This 0.02 I didn't do anything with, so that's going to just go straight down. Then this one's going to become, our x's once we combine them together are going to become 0.19x. And we didn't do anything with this negative 1.5, so that's going to go straight down as well. Then I just want to get all of the x's together and I want to get rid of everything else. So I'm going to add 1.5 to each side. And that's going to give me 0.19x on the right side and 1.52 on the left side. Finally, I can divide both sides by 0.19. That's going to cancel, and I will get x is equal to 8. So let's try the new way. In the fractions, we looked for a common denominator, and we're going to do a similar thing here. So I notice that everything is in the hundredths place, except for this. So I could just tack on an extra 0 right there. Everything's in the hundredths place. So I'm going to multiply each side by 100. I'm going to do that to both sides. And that's going to give me 6x right there, because I moved the decimal 2 places. I moved the decimal 2 places here as well. That's going to give me 6x plus 2 equals 25x minus 150. Wow, we don't have any decimals anymore. It's just like the beginning. We can just keep on going. So likewise, I'm going to subtract that 6x from the left and the right side so that I can get all of the x's by themselves. So that's going to give me 19x over here. And we didn't do anything with the 2, so that just goes down. We didn't do anything with the negative 150, so that's just going to go down as well. Then I want to get all of the x's by themselves. So I'm going to add 150 to both sides so that I can get rid of it. That's going to give me just 19x on the right side, which is what I want, and 152 on the left side. Then in my last step, I divide by 19, and that'll give me, once again, x equals 8, which is what I wanted in the first place. So here's one for you to try in two different ways. So let's do this left side in the traditional way. And let's do the right side. Why don't you find the common denominator way? Okay, now that you've done that, let's do it together. So the traditional way, very quickly, is that we're going to subtract the 0.4c from both sides to get all of our c's on the left side. And in the same step, I'm going to add the 0.1 to the other side so that we separate it all out. So when I'm all said and done, that's going to cancel out, and my 0.4c is going to cancel out. That'll give me 0.25c on the left side and negative 0.25 on the right side. Then I divide both sides by 0.25 to get just a single c there at the end. And I should get c is equal to negative 1. On my common denominator way, once again, I multiplied both sides by 100 and distributed to everything within the parentheses. So that gave me 65c minus 10 equals 40c minus 35. Then, just as before, took all the c's to the left side and took everything else to the right side. Then when the dust settles, we have 25c equals negative 25. Divide both sides by 25 to get c is equal to negative 1. There we go. Excellent. Let's try another one. So on this one, I have 0.25g is plus 0.05g plus 5 equals 2.95. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute that 0.05 to everything within the parentheses to give me 0.05g plus 0.25. I still have that 0.25g out here in the front that I didn't mess with, and I still have this 2.95 on the right side that I didn't mess with. So now I'm going to combine these like terms together to give me 0.30g. I'm going to write everything else. I'm going to move the 0.25 over so that we can have just g's on this left side. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 0.30, and I should get g is equal to 9. Since I have g all by itself, with nothing else, and I only have one number here, I'm all done. Here's one for you to try really quickly. Okay, now that you've tried it, let's do it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute to everything inside the parentheses. That's going to give me 0.05t minus 0.25. I still have that 0.10t out there to the left, and I still have this 2.15 there to the right. Now I'm going to combine like terms to get 0.15t. I still have that minus 0.25 though, and I still have the 2.15 as well. I'm going to get rid of this 0.25 by adding it to both sides to move it to the other side of the equation. That's going to cancel and leave me with 0.15t equals 2.40. Then I simply divide both sides by 0.15 to get t is equal to 16. Excellent. Feel free to rewatch this part if you didn't get t equals 16. Here's a story problem for you to try. I'll give you a second to pause the video and give it a try for yourself. Now that you've given it a try, let's do it together. So the first thing I want to do, I want to get d by itself. So I'm going to distribute and break the barriers. So I have 0.1d plus 0.02. is what that becomes. I still have that 0.10d out there. I still have this 2. So I'm going to combine like terms to get 0.11d plus 0.02 equals 2. And I simply solve like we've been doing to get 0.11d equals 1.98. I divide by 0.11 to both sides because I want to get d by itself. And I find that d equals 18. And our last one that we're going to do together. I'll give you a second to give it a try on your own. I'll see you in a second. Now that you've given it a try on your own, let's look at it together. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. I'm going to break the barriers. That's going to give me 0.25k plus 1.75. Out here in the front, I have 0.10k, and here on the right, I have 5.25. I didn't mess with those at all. I'm going to combine like terms to get 0.35k. Now, I simply move this 1.75 to the other side by subtracting it. And this will be 3.5. Then I divide both sides by 0.35 to get k by itself. And that'll leave me with 10. K equals 10. Okay, so now we've worked on solving solving equations using decimal coefficients. Have a great day. Bye.